I am in a pretty special place with a pretty special guy. I appreciate everybody watching and sharing and liking. You're watching the Daily Bend, and this week we've been really fortunate to be able to have some great people, some great guests, people that will hopefully be on again. Remember, the Daily Bend, or Beaud Not Broken, is really people telling their stories. It's hard to tell a story in 20 minutes or a half hour, but I was drawn to this whole thing with. I just love people to tell their stories, and I've watched Tyson for quite a while. He has his own radio show, and he's done a lot of things, but I wanted him to just kind of give us a brief synopsis of kind of his life. And as you know, Beaud Not Broken is, we talk to people that have had adversities, triumphs, all kinds of things. Life is hard sometimes. It's hard. There's moments of joy, and we want people to connect and listen to people's stories so they don't feel like they're alone. And they our problems can be somewhat unique to our own self, but we all have them, and we're not alone. People aren't alone.
Right.
And so the whole idea and the whole premise of the show is really to be able to kind of let people see that there are people that you can connect with and listen to their stories and maybe learn from them, and it might help you, inspire you, whatever. And as you know, we work a lot with people that, everybody has depression at one time in their life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And suicide prevention and things like that. So with that huge intro, you're watching the Daily Bend, and Tyson's my guest today, or our guest today.
Thanks.
And I just wanted him to, talk about some of the things that he wanted to talk about, and he wants to talk about,
sure.
and tell us a little bit about who you are and
Okay,
what
man.
got you to this point.
Thanks. Well, first of all, I just want to say I think Beau's a stud. I absolutely love his dedication to connecting people and seeing that we as humans are all connected. And I feel like that is something that is just super paramount in life these days. As far as me, my name's Tyson. I'm like 40 years old. I'll be 41 next month. I've had a really interesting life. I've been through a lot of stuff. I joined the military when I was young, got married when I was young, love my wife, she's awesome. I'd still chase her down to marry her today, even though we've been married almost 20 years, which is great.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I have 4 kids, 17, 15, 12, and 10. It's a great experience being a dad. It's tough, but hey, it's awesome. I've been pretty much an entrepreneur my whole life. I've had great successes and I've had great failures. I've learned a lot from both things. I think amazingly we can learn a lot from our failures.
Is there a failure? You don't have to go into anything real crazy. But is there anything that one of your failures that really kind of turns your life around, or one of your successes that really kind of said, "Wow, I am human, and I am this,"
Well, I've had a lot of success in investing in real estate, so that's one thing that's been really good for me, and I think that's that's something that is always good. It's just a matter of the way that you're playing the game.
Right.
Pardon me. As far as failures, I owned a mortgage company. I had 31 guys working for me, and people, not all guys, and it was very good. I had a lot of success with it. But when the mortgage meltdown came, that was real. It was very hard. I had a sales meeting with the guys. We always had a sales meeting every Monday, and I let people know, hey, we're going to be closing down by this date. You're not going to come in and find out all the doors are locked like a lot of mortgage companies were. I paid all my people. When we shut down, nobody got left unpaid. But I'd say that was a pretty significant failure because I lost so much during that whole period of time, and it was a real eye opener for me to realize, how fragile things can be when you have a huge market shift or something, that completely changes. But with anything that falls or any kind of failure, new opportunity opens. And my problem was, instead of looking for that new opportunity really quickly, I got depressed really, really badly. It's interesting you mentioned depression. Depression's real. I mean, it's very hard. It's stuff that that people are going to wrestle with, regardless of what it is. Maybe somebody loses a job, loses a loved one. I got really depressed. I lost a loved one, a number of years back. It was my aunt. We were on a motorcycle trip. She was run over by a truck. It was incredibly tragic for me. I was a medic in the Army, so I would have been the very best person to have there first to her, and there was no chance of helping her. And so, I went through a lot of depression from that too. I'm surprised my wife was with me at the time. We weren't married yet, but I'm surprised she stuck with me because I was a real jerk for a while.
Wow. You're watching the Daily Bend here on Beaud Not Broken, and Tyson's talking a little bit about some of the, we do highlight depression because we want to talk about it. We want people to act. We want people to reach out to other people, and we want people in crisis to reach out to people and things like that. What kept you in the game? I usually ask when you get to that point, or when you're in that point, what kept you in the game? Is there one thing or two things or whatever, a person that helped you?
I think it's a number of things, but I think the biggest thing that keeps me in the game, and should keep anyone in the game, if anybody's depressed, if anybody's considered suicide, which I think we all have,
Right.
It's seeing the pain that someone else's family goes through who takes their own life. I've had friends that have killed themselves, unfortunately, and to see the pain that their family goes through, their kids, and all different loved ones, including myself as their friend. It's just such a hard thing, and I think that's just one more thing that goes to what I'm talking about, that we are all connected as human beings, and anytime somebody decides that things are so bleak that they need to take their own life, it's just such a tragedy. And so the reality is that it's, from a selfish point of view, sure, maybe I wouldn't have stayed in the game, but from an empathy point of view, I don't think that I could do that to my family members or friends, my kids, my wife, things like that. It would just be too tragic. That'd just be too.
Well, our age group, it's crazy. Our age group, the 40 to 65, really that middle age group is the highest account of suicide there is. I know teenagers are right up there, but we're adults are more than anybody else. I want to transition just a little bit because I picked up a few weeks ago on you're a human advocate. You're an advocate for humans.
Yeah.
And you've been advocating and really kind of sticking up for those, the LGBT, the gay community, and how some of the wrongs, the rights, the whatever it is been going on with the church, the LDS church here. Will you speak a little bit about that and your passion and why that's been something that's been on your mind for a long time?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to let you guys in on something. You don't have to be gay to totally value gay rights, right?
Right.
It's interesting. I've had a lot of different people that have asked me, why do you care so much? You're not gay. Well, right, I'm not. But the thing is it is so crappy to try to make someone else's life hard, or to try to strip things from them because maybe they have a lifestyle that you either don't understand, don't agree with, or whatever. And so, oh, you're good. I was really upset about the Ensign article that they had where they called, gays counterfeits, and they were, saying that counterfeit is worthless and things like that. And so, we do have a suicide problem here in Utah with kids, that are in the LGBT category that are homeless because they've been kicked out because they're gay or whatever, particular, category they're in. And that's really hard for me. I was a youth leader when I was Mormon, and I loved it. It was the best experience for me. And I think I was called to be a youth leader because really it's like they're my peer group. I never really grew up because
Right,
being
right.
grown up is kind of
It
an
sucks
overrated thing,
It sucks
right?
to grow up.
Yeah, it sucks, right? No, who wants to be grown up, right?
I don't mean to stop you right there, but
Yeah, go ahead.
tell us a little bit more about what did they mean by counterfeit? That's an interesting
Yeah. Well, it's
label. You know, labels are for cans and bottles.
Right, right.
What kind of label is that? I guess it's really hard for me to understand why you would call another human being or even reference as counterfeit.
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I don't know exactly. I can appreciate that from their religious point of view, that gays are not, part of that don't fit in their box. Okay,
Right,
cool.
right.
Before 1978, blacks didn't fit in their box either because they were, considered to be less valiant in their pre-existence and things
Right.
like that, and they had the curse of Cain, and so, what I find is there's so many different things in religion. When somebody says, hey, my religion's about peace and love and things like that, and yet we find religion dividing us so much. It's not just LDS, but it's, everywhere, all these different religions. And so I'm all about the peace and love and things like that. I think that's great, yes. But with all these different people that have religions that are about peace and love, boy, we sure seem to be fighting a lot. And I think that's a real challenge,
And your advocacy has been just treating humans like human beings. And
Right.
And like you said, churches can have different types of views on things, but
Sure. Yeah.
but it's when it kind of goes. And I know this is controversial, but I think a lot of the youth, a lot of those people. I mean, I know many people that choose that lifestyle, and again, you're right on. I mean, I guess I have too much of my mom, and I understand. I can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Yet again, it doesn't. That's their lifestyle, and I respect that. And
Right.
it's time to move on.
Well,
If I
and
dwell on it.
as it's been explained to me, because I always like to seek to understand things I don't know, right?
Right.
And so anytime I had met people that were gay, in the past, I'd always asked them, hey, why are you gay?
Right.
And it's not that I was, trying to be, rude. I had a couple people like, huh? I'm like, no, I'm honestly interested. Is it something that you chose to be? Is it something that, and every single one of them, and I mean, I've asked probably close to 100 people, just in, as I've met people through business and things like that. It's all the same story, they've always been that way, and it's interesting because some people have asked me, well, when did you realize you were straight? Well, crap, I've just always been straight, I mean, I've always been attracted to chicks.
Right.
So I can't imagine if things were reversed for me and I was expected to like dudes, that's not happening. If society expected me to like dudes, I would be in a lot of trouble, man, because I really like girls. And so, I look at it like this. It's really ignorant to think that there's some huge conspiracy that all these people are gay to piss off God or to do whatever, right?
Right.
And my thing is, I don't necessarily have to understand it. I don't think that they choose to be gay. I think they just are. And that's based on tons and tons of conversations with people. But my thing is that that's fine, I mean, a lot of people worry about so much about sex and things like that. I mean, I have heterosexual friends and you know what? None of them have broken down and started having sex in front of me. Same thing with my gay friends. So, it really doesn't matter how they get their freak on in the back, in the bedroom. They're not doing that in front of me. I don't care, so that's their business. But they're still amazing people.
You're obviously going to continue to, speak up and speak out, and that's why. Are there any plans? I mean, have you had threats, and have you had, or what's your plan? Hold the course and just stick up for humans, and
well, yeah, I mean, I think that's the case, and also in sticking up for humans, let's look at this. We're in Utah, the Mormon Vatican, and I think something that's important, and I try to emphasize this with my new group of people, essentially, ex-LDS people. But LDS people are still my group of people, right?
Sure.
And so it's amazing, this chasm that starts to form where, because somebody's no longer LDS, now they start to have, friction or distance between others that they know who are Mormon still, right? And the idea, guys, is, look, that other person is still a good person. It's not, one of the biggest complaints of people who leave the church is that all of a sudden their friends, family, and other people ostracize them. And sometimes that's true, and sometimes it's just perception. And sometimes that's just, something that they've created, or something that they have actually created that distance themselves by treating other people differently as well. And so my whole point is that we can all, as people, find a way to find common ground and to just have a mutual respect for one another,
I think that's what really hit me when I've watched several of your posts and things like that, and kind of followed you over a little while. Your balance, your fair, that's what I would hope everybody would be, and that's what Beaud Not Broken is not. Yeah. It's the no judgment zone. It's the ability, just like you, to advocate for people. You may not agree with it, but it's basic human rights and abilities to do, and if they choose, and the church can choose to have, they not have those people there, or they do, or they can choose.
I mean, I'm still a big fan of religious freedom.
We're not bashing.
Freedom of speech.
We're not bashing anything. We're just basing, or I'm not, because I wanted you to be on here to kind of help us understand the whole balance part. But I think you represent quite a population of people that just love people, no matter what it is.
But you know what I mean? What surprises me, Bo, is that I watch you, and you're very outspoken, and you're very passionate about being connected with people, and about about helping people who need help. Right. And I think a lot of people can identify with that. However, one of the challenges that I find is that there's a lot of people that are in the closet about being authentic, about whatever it is they really believe, or about stepping out and saying something that they may think someone else deems to be unpopular. And that is really challenging, because there's no doubt in my mind why segregation lasted so long, because so many people are afraid to say, hey, well, I like this black guy, or I like this black lady. Why do we have to drink out of different drinking fountains, right? But what we're witnessing is a segregation, again, not by color, but by sexual preference, which really, to me, I don't care. And people worried about transgender people going into bathrooms. I find that politicians are usually the bigger scary people in the bathrooms.
Well, I was just going to say
transgender, right?
I was just going to say we have a political mess going on right now. Everybody yelling at each other, and it's kind of an interesting world right now. And it's too bad we just can't put away all that and really look at what's most important, what's going to benefit America, what's going to benefit the people, all those kinds of things. But anyway, that's a little editorial note.
No, I agree with you.
Anything else you want to add to that? Any other thoughts and words of wisdom? And again, this is I like the balance. I like the love. It really is something that is needed, that we don't judge, and it's just we try to help each other out.
I think there's something super important, and it's this. I think relationships are super important, right? Obviously, going to love, right? And so with let's say with my marriage, I'm in a straight marriage, but whether you're in a same-sex marriage or straight marriage, whatever kind of relationship you're in, one of the things that I find is that people will put too many conditions on being nice. So like if my wife did something I don't like, and then I'm like, well, I'm not going to be nice to her until she apologizes for this, right? But then maybe she perceived that I did something wrong as well. And so then all of a sudden, the next thing you know is you've got people that are getting further and further apart from each other. And I think that communicating is awesome. In a relationship, I think it's cool to say, hey, look, here's what I want. I want to be able to feel safe. I want to be able to open up about anything that is important to me. I want to be able to have unconditional love between us. Is that something that you could get on board with? And, luckily, I think that's one of the things that's kept me going for, as long as I have. I'm coming up on 20 years. We've been together 22. Is that communication in a relationship. And I think that is just so paramount, because, it is really, really easy, to otherwise get very separated if we don't, put our pride aside and say, hey, look, we're having a hard time here, and, respect that somebody needs some space or whatever. So that's one of the things I'd say. And I'd say it's not limited to just your intimate relationships, but it's your relationships with everyone. I think that just being your real self and also being inclusive, I think that's just really huge. So
well said. Don't need to add anything to that. Any words of wisdom in the real estate world or the investing world?
In the real estate
I know we're
world,
transitioning really quick.
No,
but,
you're good. Yeah.
Give some. I know you do a lot. So
I do.
Any words of wisdom to people out there?
Yes. Well, I mean, interest rates are still really, really good. So, if you're looking at refinancing and you haven't done it, you should. Sooner or later, those interest rates are going to have to go up. They have to. Selling right now is a great time to sell. I mean, it's springtime. Interest rates are still low, so people can afford more money. Right now Utah has a lower supply, so you can get you're going to get a lot more buyers. You're going to get a lot more money out of your home. Of course, it's kind of a double-edged sword. If you're staying in Utah and you're buying another home, you're going to pay more as well. But right now is a pretty good time to transition if you wanted to, because you have the ability to sell for a lot more money. Yeah, granted, you're going to spend more money, but you're also getting a lower interest rate. Right. As soon as interest rates bump up, the reality is real estate prices are going to come down, because it's a function of how much people can afford monthly. And so when you have a lower interest rate, people can afford more monthly, thus they can pay a higher price.
Can people get a hold of you for that type of advice anywhere they can?
Are you seriously giving me a plug? I love you, man.
Give me a plug.
Yes. My cell phone number is 801-918-4357. I've been doing real estate for about 20 years. I'm very, very good at it. I worked for a company out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, where I flew nationally as well to do consulting with people on business and real estate, and those people paid anywhere between $25,000 and $50,000 to the company. Boy, I wish I got paid that for 3 days worth of my time. So to give you an idea, I am very, very good at what I do, and I take fiduciary really, really seriously. And fiduciary means that you put your client's interest 100% first, and and that's pretty much what I'm all about.
You're the Samson Fund, right?
Oh, I also do Samson Fund. Yes,
I'm looking at his
money
window.
for people. Yeah.
But yeah, located in Sandy. Get
Yeah.
a hold of him. I'll put his phone number up there. And
You're a stud, man. Thanks.
If you got a website or something like that.
Well, let me say this. I saw you the other day saying you were thinking about running for Congress.
No, I've already done that. No.
Okay.
No, I put it up there as a joke.
Oh, as a joke.
I'm loving what I'm doing. I like changing that way. If I can I'd just be an outspoken.
Well, here's the thing, and I got to say this.
It would take a lot of money.
One of the things I love about Bo's an authentic, real guy. And we need more authentic, real people that are running our country. One of the problems that I see is that most people who gravitate toward power are the people who should not have it. So if you're ever thinking about it again, let me know, because I'm definitely voting for you, and I would definitely push whomever I can that way.
No, I'm looking to get my van down by the river and go do interviews all around the country for regular people. That's what I want to do. So
cool, man.
Anyway, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
big time Bones.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you, Tyson, and follow him. I don't know how many people you got, but follow him. We'll put his phone number up. Use him.
Yeah, follow, because I have to keep deleting on my friend requests, because they only let you have 5,000 on Facebook.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I have the same. That's unfortunate. We should have more than that.
We should be able to have more. Or I should learn how to use another social media platform or something. I don't know.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching, everybody. Watching the Daily Bend on Beaud Not Broken. And please like, share, throw it around. If you have any good show ideas or any bad show ideas, let me know. And I appreciate you watching. Thanks, Tyson.
Thank you, Beau.